The wind had just started to howl when Elijah slammed the car door shut. The old Honda Civic rattled like it was holding its breath, barely clinging to life. He adjusted the car seat behind him, where his 5-year-old daughter Ava was bundled in her favorite blanket, peacefully asleep after a long day at preschool. "Just one more night shift," he whispered, more to himself than to her. "We'll make rent. We always do." Elijah pulled into the downtown parking garage of the hotel where he worked as a janitor. It wasn't glamorous, but it paid enough to scrape by. Ava stayed with the night concierge Maria, a kind older woman who had taken a liking to them. Everyone in the hotel knew Elijah. What they didn't know was who he had been. Long before dirty mop water and minimum wage, Elijah had served in special forces, a covert unit trained in tracking, surveillance, and crisis response. But a mission gone wrong had left him with PTSD, a discharge, and a daughter after his wife walked out. He chose anonymity, a quiet life. But quiet never lasts. It was 2:08 a.m. when the alarm sounded, high-pitched, cutting through the silence like a scream. Elijah was mopping the 14th floor hallway when the sirens blared. Guests stumbled out of their rooms, confused and annoyed. Fire. Gas leak. Whoa. A hotel security guard shouted into his walkie-talkie. "We've got a situation. Possible abduction." "I repeat, possible abduction. Room 1407, child reported missing." Elijah froze. His pulse skipped. The hallway suddenly felt too quiet. Room 1407. He just cleaned there an hour ago. A high-profile guest had checked in. CO Scarlett Vale, founder of Vale Robotics. He hadn't seen the child himself, but gossip traveled fast. Rumor was she traveled with her 6-year-old daughter, Isla. Elijah bolted toward the stairwell, ignoring the security team's protests. Every instinct in him snapped to life. He was no longer a janitor. He was a tracker, a father, a man who'd once pulled comrades out of war zones in the dead of night. By the time he reached the 14th floor suite, the door was open. Security fumbled inside, confused and inefficient. Elijah scanned the room with sharp eyes. Signs of forced entry, a tipped-over chair, a child's backpack on the floor. He crouched and touched the floor near the open balcony window. 2 fresh footprints in the dust. Size 12 boots. Heavy set. A second pair, smaller, lighter, likely the child's. "Elijah!" Maria had followed him up, panting. "They say it's the CEO's daughter." Just gone." Elijah looked out the window. The fire escape had been used. A set of dirty smudges lined the railing. He grabbed his phone and pulled up the hotel's old blueprints, something he had memorized while waiting for Ava during long shifts. The fire escape led to a service alley that wrapped around the back of the building and opened to a delivery dock. If they were moving fast, they'd already be halfway to the old underpass by now. Dark, rarely patrolled. No time to think. He grabbed his backpack from the janitor's closet, pulling out a flashlight, a crowbar, and an old police scanner he'd kept for emergencies. He turned it on, static. Female child age 6. Confirmed visual at Dock 2. Suspect wearing black hoodie, driving white panel van. Elijah was gone before the sentence ended. The alley stank of oil and garbage. The cold bit into his skin. He moved like a ghost between dumpsters, listening, observing. Ahead, headlights flared. A white van idled near the exit. Elijah ducked behind a stack of pallets. He squinted 2 figures. One the man, tall, pacing, holding a phone. The other, a little girl inside the van, pressed against the window, her face lit with fear. His fists clenched. He couldn't call the police. Not yet. No time. One wrong move and they'd vanish. He reached into his backpack, pulled out a smoke grenade he hadn't used in years, a relic of a past he never wanted to remember. He whispered an apology to Ava, wherever she was sleeping. Then he threw it. Smoke erupted. "Kiss!" the man shouted. Elijah charged. The suspect barely had time to react. Elijah hit him like a freight train, sending him crashing into the pavement. They struggled, the man pulling a switchblade, Elijah blocking with a crowbar. Years of dormant training surged back, clean and brutal. Within seconds the man was out cold. Elijah yanked open the van door. "Isla?" he asked gently. She nodded, crying. "I'm a friend. Your mom sent me." She crawled into his arms without question. Sirens wailed in the distance. He didn't wait. He carried Isla out of the smoke just as 2 police cars screamed into the alley. They took it from there. The suspect was arrested. Paramedics checked Isla over. Elijah stood back, unnoticed, until a woman ran toward the scene in heels and panic. Scarlet Veil. Her eyes scanned the chaos. Then they locked onto Isla. Then onto him. She ran to her daughter, collapsing in sobs. When she looked up again, Elijah was gone. But not for long. Scarlet Veil didn't sleep for 2 days. Her daughter had been found, shaken but safe. The headlines exploded the next morning. Tech CEO's child rescued in heroic mystery operation. Security footage was spotty, and all anyone could confirm was that a hotel janitor had intervened before police arrived. But no one knew his name. Not even Scarlett. Until the hotel's general manager forwarded her a name. "He's worked here 4 years. Quiet guy. Shows up. Works hard. Has a little girl. Bring him to me," she said. But when they checked his locker, Elijah was already gone. No resignation. No note. Just a folded sheet of paper left behind for the night concierge Maria. "I did what any father would. Tell the CEO her daughter was brave. I'm going back to my world now." Scarlett wasn't used to people disappearing on her. She was used to being the one who walked away. But this man, this janitor, had charged into smoke, knocked out a kidnapper, and vanished without expecting anything. Not money. Not credit. Nothing. And she couldn't stop thinking about him. 3 days later, she walked into the preschool Elijah's daughter attended. She waited until pickup time, when he came around the corner holding Ava's tiny hand. "Elijah," she called gently. He froze. Ava looked up at him. "Daddy, who's that lady?" Scarlett stepped closer. "I am Scarlet Veil. Isla's mother." Elijah's eyes flicked to Ava, then to the preschool building, scanning for exits like muscle memory. "I just wanted to say thank you," she said. "But more than that, I want to talk." He hesitated, then nodded once. They sat at the nearby park while Ava played on the swings. Scarlett explained everything. The ransom email, the security failure. How Isla hadn't spoken since the incident except to ask about the man who saved her. "You don't owe me anything," Elijah said, eyes on his daughter. "I know," she replied. "That's why I want to offer something real." He looked at her, puzzled. "I run a private security firm, off the books. We protect CEOs, public figures, whistleblowers. We need someone with your instincts." "I'm a janitor," he said flatly. "You're a protector," she replied. "And my daughter already trusts you." "I do too." He said nothing for a long while. "I left that world behind," he finally said. "I have a daughter to raise." "So do I," she said. "Maybe we help each other." A month later, Elijah was back in the field, this time on his own terms. He joined Scarlett's private security firm part-time, taking only high-priority assignments with flexible hours. His military background was a perfect fit, and his instincts were razor-sharp. But most importantly, Ava never felt neglected. Scarlett made sure of it. The partnership bloomed into friendship and something more. Their lives, once so different, began to braid together like roots of the same tree. Sunday dinners with both girls. Late-night coffee after missions. Long talks about life, loss, and parenting. Scarlett learned Elijah had once dismantled a cartel hideout to rescue civilians, only to return home to a cold divorce and a daughter who barely knew him. Elijah learned that Scarlett had built her empire from scratch while shielding Isla from a world that tried to weaponize her success against her. They saw each other's scars and didn't flinch. Then came the gala. It was a charity event for child rescue operations. Scarlett was being honored. The press, the cameras, the glitter. Elijah hated it all. But she asked him to come just this once. Midway through the night, Scarlett took the mic. "There's someone here who doesn't want credit," she said. "But he deserves more than applause. He reminded me that strength comes in quiet acts, in selflessness." She gestured. Elijah froze in place as a spotlight found him. Everyone clapped. He didn't move until Ava tugged on his sleeve and whispered, "Go, Daddy." He walked to the stage, unsure what to say. So he said the truth. "I'm not a hero. I'm just a dad who never wants another kid to feel afraid in the dark." The room went still. Scarlett reached for his hand. "And I'm a mom who never wants to forget the man who reminded me what love looks like." She leaned in and kissed his cheek. Slow, tender gesture. No drama. No spotlight chasing. Just two broken people finding something worth healing for. Months passed. The firm expanded, thanks to Elijah's tactics and training systems. He trained new hires, balanced Ava's school schedule, built a home with walls he actually felt safe inside. And Scarlett, she didn't just change his life. He changed hers too. One night Ava and Isla sat on the porch, whispering like sisters. Inside, Elijah cooked spaghetti while Scarlett leaned against the doorway, watching him. "Can I ask you something?" she said. He turned. "Sure. If I told you you saved more than my daughter that night, would you believe me?" He paused, wiped his hands on a towel and walked over. "Yes," he said softly. "Because you saved me too." She smiled. Then kissed him for real this time. And outside, under the moonlight, their daughters laughed like the world had never been dangerous at all.